Okay, market reports. What is a market report? Well, a market report is basically a stay-in-touch tool that answers this question. I've got 472 contacts that are not active buyers or sellers. I want to stay in front of them. What do I send them? Okay, you can send them recipe cards and you can send them farmers markets cards and all those kind of things. What we've come up with is this really nice email campaign that goes out monthly. Okay, so you'll get 12 touches a year. Once you set it up, it never stops unless the user unsubscribes or if you stop it on your own. It takes maybe 20 seconds to set up one of these, and you can set up multiple people on the same one at multiple times. So it's very easy. In other words, we call this our 1 to 2,000 ratio. If you were to spend an hour setting up market reports, you would get 2,000 to 3,000 automated touches over the next 12 months. So you can't tell me that that's not worth it, right? So what do these market reports look like? Well, let's take a look. If I go to marketing and market report, I see two. This market report here is monthly, and this obviously is quarterly. So if you want someone to receive 16 touches over the next year for a specific market area, you'd set them up on one report for each, right? 12 for here and 6 for here. This, obviously, 4 times a year. This, 12 times a year. And again, I keep speaking yearly, but once you set these up, they never stop. I'm just using that as a measurement. It's not like at the end of the year you have to reset them up again. So I'm going to go to market report. You can see I've got one market report running right now. So here, let me show you this. You'll see this line. You saw a line a lot like this when we were looking at contacts as well. You'll see a line like this for a lot of our different reports. Let me show you everything on this line really quickly. Edit the report is here. This is one I've already set up. Okay, so none of you have anything set up unless you set up one with me last week. We'll click on new and do a setup in just a second. So we've got that. We've got this edit button that allows us to edit. We've got this delete button if you want to delete the report. This right here generates a preview of what the report looks like. Okay, so you can do that without having to open it. This right here is a hard send. So if you're talking with your client, they don't remember getting last month's report or they deleted it by accident, and you just want to knock out another one, you don't have to set up a new one. You just come in here and hit send report now, and it sends the latest report to them immediately. Let's see here. Here's the contact record. If I just want to see that right there, I can do that. Copy agent on the report. Do you want to get a copy of this report? You can say yes or no. And is the client unsubscribed, which is really good. And you can sort by this column as well. This on the right-hand side shows you when this report was sent. So this was sent at 8:30 in the morning on the 14th of last week. If I click this little magnifying glass, I can see that it's a market report. That's when it was sent. It's not been opened yet, so Lisa hasn't opened my report yet. If I want to see exactly the email that went out, I just click on this little magnifying glass, and it actually shows you a copy of this email. So let's take a look at what these market reports are. This market report gets delivered embedded into the client's email. So when they receive this report on their email, an iPhone, an iPad, their computer, wherever, they're going to see this actual report as opposed to having to click a link that then logs them back into the website. So you've got some generic stuff here. We've picked Multnomah County. There'll be probably a good 1,000 areas available all the way down to neighborhoods. So you'll be able to click Sellwood or Salmon Creek or Fisher's Landing or Beaverton, right? We'll have counties, cities, and neighborhoods all part and available from this data. So I'll scroll down here. It gives me a nice welcome, dear Lisa. Thanks for here's your latest market report. It's completely branded to me. Okay, remember I had that LinkedIn social icon in there. That's even clickable here. Convert to a PDF. This is a great leave behind tool. If you want to print this and then leave it at open houses for the specific area you're in, that's a piece of cake, right? Think of all the things you can do if you want to share this to social media and convert it to a PDF. So this is really nice. So let me give you kind of a quick kind of a snapshot of what these are going to look like. So these will be snapshot of sales, properties, days on market. As I continue to scroll down, it's got all my market summary pieces here. And then let me walk you through 7 or 8 charts and graphs. We've got new properties with a 4-month rolling average. We've got average sales price over the last, 2 years, 3 years. We've got average sales to list price for a couple years. We've got average asking versus sold versus unsold price for the last couple of years. We've got properties for sale by price segmentation, average price per square foot with a year-to-year comparison. We've got month supply of inventory with a 4-month rolling average. We've got 2 different saturation charts, and then you've got the end of the report. So a lot of different information. Again, no one's going to become a monstrous real estate market expert from this. This will just be a really nice stay-in-touch tool when you don't really know what else to send somebody. It's branded to you. It makes you look like the expert in that specific area, and it's very easy to set up. I'll tell you, I think we have about 1 million of these going out every month across the country, and they've been wildly successful for that just non-invasive stay-in-touch tool. So that's exactly what the report is, what it looks like. You've probably got a few questions. As I set one up, I'll be able to answer most of those. So let's set one up real quick. So where am I? Marketing and then market report. So I've got my existing reports here. For a lot of clients, they have hundreds in their system, and so they're just easily, you can easily just click on find and find them. You can sort them by all these different things. So it's pretty easy to find or manage when you have a lot of reports in there. I click on new. Once I click on new, I just need a couple things from you. The report name, so we'll say Lisa's Beaverton report. Who's it going to go out to? I start typing in Lisa, and it drops down and shows me her record. Let's say it was another contact I have in the system page. I just click there, and it locks it to her contact record. So it's very easy to do that. Now, a lot of you will get excited about setting up market reports, especially because you can do this on your phone, right? So if you're meeting with a client or you're reconnecting with someone, and you ask them, hey, would you like to receive some really cool market information? Just a little monthly email. They say, sure. So you get your phone out, you start to set up a market report, and you realize that they're not one of the contacts in your system. So that's fine. You can add them right here on the fly. You click New Contact, and then you can add that new contact here. You click Save and Close, and then once you do that, it puts them and ties the report to them, and it dumps them into the CRM contacts, and so you never have to add them again. Now here's the big one, is you need to pick the market area. So market areas should be complete, I would say, by the end of next week. So right now we click Browse. I loaded just some sample areas. Let me tell you about the areas real quickly. All counties will be available, right? So Clark County, Multnomah, Washington County, all the different counties will be available. That's a very broad swipe. Secondly, cities. So every city that you guys, basically have a presence in will be there. Not every city in RMLS, right? We're not putting like White Salmon in there, but everything from Amboy down to Woodburn over to, way past Aloha and way past Gresham. Right? All the cities will be in there as their own reports, broken down by all real estate transactions or condos or single-family homes. So you can see right here we've got Gresham. Here's the city report for Gresham. Here's just condos for Gresham. Here's just single-family homes. And then we'll also have one additional level, and that's neighborhoods. For those of you that weren't here last week to hear my little spiel on neighborhoods, what we've done is grabbed all the neighborhood geographic boundaries from Google, the ones that are not defined in RMLS, and we've overlaid those and created our own set of neighborhood data for you guys. So if someone's on the front face of the new equitygroup.com website, in the quick search, they can just type in Sellwood and actually receive the real Sellwood area and actually look at Sellwood listings. The same thing for these reports. So Mount Tabor is not a definable area in MLS, but I can make a real Mount Tabor neighborhood. So we've got about 20 neighborhoods we're dropping in for Vancouver. That'll be things like Salmon Creek, Hazeldale, Fisher's Landing, Burton. I looked at the list today. I mean, it's all the stuff. I used to live there, so it's all the stuff that I remember. And certainly for Portland, we have a list of maybe 75 or 80. Things like Alameda and Sellwood and Ladd's Addition and those kind of things. So all of those will be available in this list. So you can see here we've got Sellwood. So I can click on Sellwood. Now, can I add more than one area to one report? Absolutely. That's going to become a long report. So I would be sensitive about doing more than, let's say, 2 or 3 areas. Each report is probably 7 or 8 pages long. So if you were to check, well, I'll give them Lake Oswego, the whole thing, and we'll break it down by condos, and we'll show single-family homes, and we'll throw in Multnomah. right? That's going to be a report that's just going to be too difficult for anyone to really digest. So just keep that in mind. So we do that there. I click on OK. And that's really it. If I want to put a title on the report, I can put it there. If I want to be copied, I can click yes. You can certainly copy yourself. That's totally okay with me. But you know, if you set up 200, 300, 400 of these, when they go out, which is the 7th of every month, they go out, and you get 300 emails, don't call me. Go back in here and toggle all of those to no. So that's something to keep in mind, is as you use the system more and more, I probably wouldn't put copy yourself on there. I'll give you a ton of different places to see all the things that are going out. This is probably not the way to do that. And then if you need to toggle the report off, you certainly can. If someone calls and say, hey, switch me to another location, or can you just turn that off? I'm going to go winter in Phoenix for 3 months. Whatever, you can toggle it off and then toggle it back on at any time. So once I get here, if I want to see it before I send it, I click preview. Preview actually generates exactly what the report's going to be. And so you can see it's all branded to me. You've got, it's got Sellwood, the Sellwood neighborhood area. I scroll down, we've got all of our different stats, our different market types, and then all of our different averages, selling prices, unsold. I know I'm going a little bit quick, but you'll be able to really dive deep into these reports at another time. Now, let's talk about the data. It only comes from RMLS or Willamette Valley or whatever. It only comes from our MLS feeds, right? So it's just MLS data. When does it come out? We parse through all of the data on the 3rd or 4th of every month for the previous month, and then we send all of these out across the country on the 7th, okay? So what does that mean? I was told last week that your RMLS market action reports come out around the middle of the month, so this will beat that by probably 8 days, which is nice. It'll give you guys a nice advantage. It's also different. It's very different than that report, but a lot of it, obviously, all the same data. And it's certainly different areas for sure. So that's how that's going to work. So you hit save and send. Paige will get the most current report right now. So today's the 20th. So right now she would get November's report, and then on the 7th of January she would get December's report, and then on the 7th of February she would get January's report, right? Just like clockwork, super, super simple. I hit save and send, and then it's done. So she just got, or she's going to get in the next few minutes, her first report, and then from there it's just like clockwork. Again, 1 hour of this, you can easily set up 100 reports, and in that time that's 1,200 automated touches. So I can already see a couple of questions coming through, and one of those I know is going to be, oh yeah, there it is, multiple contacts. Let's say you've got an area like in Sellwood that you're farming, right? And so you want to have, it's just easier. You know that these 17 people in your Sellwood group, you want to send them all the same report. Let me show you how you do that. From there, again, we're going to start. From there, we need to start at contacts. So it's a little bit different. So you need to think through your head. I need to send out a market report, but I got to do it for multiple people. Here's how I do that. So I go to contacts. I go to all my contacts. Let's say I've got a group in here that is, I don't know what we would call it. We'll call it family for now, right? And I want to send all of my family a Sellwood report. So here's how I do that. I click on the left-hand box of all the ones I want to check. So maybe there's 10 here, I click on 10. If there's 28, I click on all 28 by just clicking this top one, right? I'm just segmenting this group. So I'm taking my family, and then I'm going and checking all those boxes, and over on the right-hand side, I click Create. So on the right-hand side, I click Create, I click Market Report. Now, once I do that, you can see what's missing here, the contact field. What I'm going to do in the system is I'm going to create one-off reports for all those people for you, so you don't have to create the same report for them. They all have to receive a separate report so I can track when they opened it, so they can disable it one at a time if they want to. But all you need to do is give me Sellwood farming report, right? Market area. You're going to do Sellwood. I start typing it in. It's right there. I didn't even have to do browse that time. Either way is fine. Once you get to know the different areas, you can just start typing them in. See how Sellwood real estate market is going. I don't know, that's a pretty bad title, but you get the idea. I click Save and Close. Now, when I do that, that's done. I just set up one report for 2 people. Let's jump over to marketing and market report and refresh this page, and look at that. So right there, Sellwood farming report for future client and for Paige and for Mackenzie. It set up everybody that was in that family group. It did it all for me. Cool, huh? So anyway, that is that is exactly how we do that for multiple people, and you'll want to kind of keep that in mind. Let me see a couple of questions here. And let's see, let me see a couple questions here because I don't want to miss listing alerts because we didn't cover that last week and I want to spend some time on those. Okay, let's see. With market reports that are already set up, with the Delta, will those, no, you need to redo those. Okay, so Dan asks a great question. There was a kind of a market report piece in the Delta platform, and he's asking, will those already be set up over here, or will you need to transfer those over? You will need to transfer those over and redo those. The market action reports and any listing alerts that you had, that's why we're giving you guys so much time in the system before we go live, so you can move those people over. It's a great opportunity to re-engage with those customers, so it's not a bad thing, right? And we're in the holidays, so we're a little bit slow anyway, which is good, but you will need to re-engage those reports. So Leslie, is it possible to set up one market report? Oh, I just answered that one, sorry. Kyle, can you edit, change, or personalize the verbiage? So Kyle, in phase 2, and we have this tech ready, and we'll after you guys get up and get rolling with market reports and get comfortable, in phase 2, which will be probably around a March release, you can edit the picture on the top of that market report. You can edit the content and the text in the market report, or you can just turn those pages off and just send a very simple market report with no title, text, and branding. So that will be coming in phase 2. Right now, obviously, you know, it's not worth it to wait. You would want to send these out and get these going. And then when people start to get them, then they'll get a little bit of a change of flavor, which helps them re-engage, and that's why we're doing it that way. Also, once a year or so, we'll change up the charts and graphs, and we'll add different charts, and we'll pull a couple things out. The whole idea is to get people to re-engage and to look at it afresh, right? So we'll be changing the picture up and doing all sorts of things, but you'll be able to do that on your own as well. So David asks, if on the group I told the report to send me a copy, will I get yes? So David asks a good question. He took a group and he's going to say, hey, send this group this report, and then he's going to ask to be copied. If he asks to get copied, he will get copied on every one of the emails for every one of the people in that group. So if there's 10 people in his group, he just signed up for 10 CC emails at the first part of every month. So again, you know, I just would recommend that you guys don't do that because our dashboard will show you all the communication. You can go to individual contact records and see all the communication you've been sending them. There's so many other ways to see who and what you're sending to people. Getting a CC that's going to be just way too much for you to open is probably not the way. But anyway, that's just my thought. Okay, let's jump to. In fact, hold on 1 second. I'm going to stop the recording so we can do listing alerts. 1 second, please. All right, let's talk listing alerts. This is the #1 thing that people typically will take from their existing MLS and then move into our system simply because it's a branded experience. So let me tell you what I mean. I'm talking about listing alerts and home finders. So if I want to set up somebody on a listing alert, and this would be a standard, hey, I'm looking for a condo in Beaverton, somewhere around 350 to 400, but it's got to have 2 bedrooms. We want to set that person up on a saved search, right? So I go to marketing, and I go to home finder. Now again, this looks familiar, right? This is the same look and feel we just had on the market reports. Unsubscribed, copy agent, right? Hard send, preview. When was the last email sent? You get the whole idea. You're starting to see some consistency. The more you come into the platform, it's like riding a bike. The more you're going to be able to easily see how things function and get around very, very quickly. The platform is very easy to get around. So I want to send up a new one. Let's say Paige wants that condo in Beaverton, so we click on New. And here I'll put Paige condo search is my name, I'm going to skip the criteria for a second and just fill out the rest of these fields. So contact with the page, I start clicking it in. She's right there. If I want a title on it, I can. What is the email frequency, right? So immediately would mean every single time something hits the MLS, she would get an email. On a wide search, this could be several times a day. I mean, the market's a little bit, fast right now, and so things come in and out. This might be beneficial, but if you said, show me all listings in Beaverton, right, immediately, she would be getting emails all the time. So we are updating our MLS about every 20 minutes, and so we run this job every single time that we update our MLS. So she could conceivably get 3 emails an hour. So if we want her just to get a one-day summary, we click on one day, but you see all the different options there, right? Do you want to be copied? You know my feelings on that by now. Do we want her to also see open house notifications? This is really nice when open houses come on the market. Not just come on the market, but when we get the data in from our MLS that says, hey, this house is going to be open and it matches her criteria, we will send her that notification so she knows. That's kind of nice. And the maximum number of listings per email. That's really important. And this is the maximum number for the very first search. So your search can't be massive, right? Your search can't be, give me everything in Beaverton and just send it to my client. I mean, that's just a good way to get spam popped. So, we limit you to 100 results there, and no one's going to be able to look through more than that anyway. So now we're going to look at editing the criteria. So if I click on edit, I've got multiple ways to edit the criteria, right? So here I can just go through the database and then just fill all my pieces out, right? And you see all the fields that you're familiar with: price, location, all the different features, all the different general, stuff down here. This is all stuff from our MLS primarily. Well, I'm at Valley MLS as well. These are all common fields between all the different MLSs. If you just want to do is send me everything within a quarter mile of where she works, you could do that by dropping in this address. That's a really easy one as well. Or I can jump here and do a map search. Map search is nice because I can draw a polygon, and on the polygon I can overlay it with things like price status. So let's say my list price is $350 to $500, okay? And in $350 to $500, I want to be in the Pearl District. And so I just zoom down a little bit to the Pearl. And again, if you want to be in the Pearl District, I'm going to give you that option in the neighborhood feed to just pick on Pearl District. That's an option you guys haven't had before, so this probably wouldn't what you want to do, but you get the idea. I can draw my polygon from here. Let's say she just wants the Pearl District, but she hates living on the east side of 405, and so she wants to be on that hippie little west side in 23rd. So we'll say Pearl east of 405. Now, here's like a nice little tip. Once I click on OK and I've done this polygon anywhere in my platform, you never have to draw that polygon again. So for those of you that have farming areas, and this next report we're going to do is great for farming areas because it shows you solds and withdrawals and market stats and everything for like a whole area every week. Once you draw your little subdivision, let's say it's Royal Oaks, or let's say it's just 2 blocks around Legacy, right? Something like that. It's something really, really unique, but that's your farming area. You only got to draw it once, and after that, you can just pick it from a little drop down. So I'll click OK. It searches the map. It says there's 3 in that area from 350 to 500. That's perfect. So at that point, I click OK. So I know now that this is my parameters. I've set those up. I know it's going to give me 3. Right? And so it's not going to be like, my search isn't like way too broad. And all I asked for was a small price range on that side, so those are probably little back-end shacks anyway. And then if I want to right now, I can click on preview and actually see the report. The report, again, is embedded in the email. It's really nice. It's got some nice stuff to it. Again, pictures will show up after we go live, but you can see them. They'll show up quicker after we go live. But you can see a really nice spec sheet. We've got a couple graphs to fix, just a few kind of go live things, some social sharing type stuff. Here's the nice thing about this home finder. You're looking at this and saying, wow, it's an entire page. What if page's results were 28? Would this be a 28-page email? No. Our system is smart enough to figure out if there's a lot of results, then what I want to do with a lot of results is I want to shrink this down and show like 4 up per page or even 8 up per page. So I want to shrink things down, and that works perfect. So this is good here. This is the report. I like it. I just click out of that. I hit save and send, and Paige will now get the first showing her everything, okay, for her condo search. And now I think what do you set up once a day? So once a day she'll get a summary of everything that happened during there. So we have a different report that will show expireds, pendings, actives, solds, withdrawals, all sorts of other data. This right here will show actives, and I believe it shows pendings, but it does not show off market and does not show sold. Those are for the other report that we have. So this is just for someone actively looking for something specific. Obviously, they can sign up for a report like this as well on the front end of the website, and you'll see that activity, especially if they do it on your individual agent website. Okay, let's see here. I think that's probably enough to get you started with these. You know, any of these reports you can start sending yourself now if you'd like to. Obviously, there'll be some little things like some charts and graphs that we'll be fine-tuning and little pieces here and there, but you'll get an idea of how this works. And you can certainly set people up and just click them to, you know, no email and get them ready for search results and then toggle them on as we get everything finished in the system. So any questions on the Home Finder listing alerts? Pretty simple.